Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do another review. This is going to be a little bit different. So far, I've reviewed Marlboro Ice and I've reviewed Marlboro Midnight. I promise I'm going to do some more reviews on different cigarettes, and I'm going to try to do the reviews I do. I'm going to try to make them unique, like not your typical brands. What I want to do today is something I do. So because cigarettes are expensive here. So I don't know how they all are, but what we like to do is we like to roll some cigarettes, make our own homemade cigarettes, and we kind of save them for when we earn our own cash or to save our brand pre-made cigarettes. And I'm going to show you what I do, how I make them. I'm going to show you what I use. This is the tobacco I use. It's called the Good Smoke Premium Pipe Tobacco Red. Now this, where I'm at, goes for about $6-7, and it's a 3-ounce bag. RSB Tobacco, they make the good stuff. This is the Good Smoke. It's not a knockoff brand. It is made by the same company. It's just a new line that they're trying. So I use that, and the filters that I use, since that company doesn't make filters that I know of, I haven't been able to find them, are Zen Smoke full flavored cigarette tubes. They're red. So yeah, that's still, the writing's backward. I know I still can't figure this out. I will figure it out though eventually, I promise. And this is what the filters look like. These are the 100 millimeter tubes. They come in a box of 250. I got this for about $2.99, and 250 tubes for about $3 isn't too bad. And you combine that with $6 or $7 for this, you're looking at with tax and stuff, $10 or so, and you got yourself about 250 cigarettes. And yeah, this does make almost the entire box. Now I still do it old school. I got one of these little top cigarette makers, the old school thing here. Nothing fancy, nothing electric, nothing motorized, nothing automated. I use this to tamp it down. Then I just use like a stick, or anything to, kind of, guide the tobacco into the tube as I pull the finished product out. Then I just fold over the top. Now this one I just made a few minutes ago. I did burn the end of it. Sometimes when I make one, if I don't want to smoke it right away, but I know I'm going to shortly within the next, maybe an hour or two, I'll burn the top a little bit and then put it out. Usually I'll just fold them over and then I'll put them in like a container to keep them fresh. But I do this, I don't know, it's just a habit I got into. When I smoke cigars, I do that. I'll burn the tops. When I'm done with them, I'll just sort of, carefully put them out. That way I can smoke them later. I don't know why I do that. I don't know if there's any really rhyme or reason for it. I just do it as a habit. I don't know why. But this is what the finished product will look like. I'm going to go ahead and light it up, let you know, what I think. Well, I know what I think, but I'm going to let you know what I think. They're easy to light. The papers on these burn pretty decent. Now, I was using RYO tubes. My wife still does. She uses the RYO tubes, and she uses the Good Stuff Menthol Gold. She uses the menthol tubes. I've found that these form much better. They keep the ends, the cherry, if you will, the lit end, for some of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on the cigarette. Now, when I ash, it's still there. It doesn't, a lot of times with some of the other tubes, the tops will come off and you gotta light the dang thing again. This, I've had no problem. I'll be with you in a minute. Your aunt did. Again, I try to smoke away from the kids, when they're not in the room. I don't like smoking right next to them. Just out of respect. It's a respect thing. The draw on these is really nice. You don't really have to work. Me, starting out as a cigar smoker, I don't like having to really work to draw smoke. Now these are the 100 millimeter tube. They are filters. You know, obviously it's not going to be quite as easy to draw as the shorter, you know, the king size version, but it draws pretty nice. And the combination I use, the aroma is really nice. It's a nice, you know, it's a nice rich tobacco. You know, it doesn't overwhelm. It's not too harsh. It makes a good smoke. And I'll show you. It does produce a good amount of smoke. Just with your standard quick draw. You know, again, you don't have to work. It doesn't burn the back of my throat. I hate that. Some of the tobacco I've gotten, you know, just my experimenting with making our own cigarettes, roll your own. They call it RYO. I've had some of them very harsh in the back of your throat, and I don't like that. I like smooth tobacco. I like it to go in nice, and I like when I exhale. I like it to have that exact same, you know, to mirror that smoothness. And these tubes, I don't really get that papery flavor. A lot of the tubes that you get, the cheaper tubes, they'll have like a very papery flavor to them, and I don't like that either. Which is one of the reasons why, you know, it took me a while to find, you know, smokes that I really enjoy, because unlike cigars, you know, these things are wrapped in paper. Obviously, it's paper. Now, the one difference about these tubes and what you would find in, say, your standard, you know, ready-made cigarette is that these are not yet treated with the, what do they call that, the flame retardant chemical. So, like, if you lay your cigarette down, you know, it's not gonna, it's less likely to catch fires to things. And most of your major cigarette makers, they use the paper that is treated with, you know, the flame suppressant process. And, you know, it doesn't really make a difference in the flavor to me where that's concerned either. I've heard a lot of people say they can taste that chemical, you know, when their brand switched to that paper, that flame resistant paper. They said a lot of people complained that they can taste that, so they've had to go search for a new brand. With these, I don't really eat, you know, I don't taste the paper. And with my favorite cigarette, the Marlboro Midnight, I don't taste that chemical. So I don't know what they're talking about. I guess maybe some people can taste it, some people can't. Everybody's different. And these don't burn overly fast. So it's not like you're going to sit down to a smoke and, you know, within 2 or 3 minutes, your cigarette's done. I like to enjoy my smoking experience. I don't do it solely for the nicotine hit. I do it just because it's relaxing. It's part of the nicotine, but I do it for the entire experience, the flavor, having my hand occupied with something, and you know, it's a whole experience as opposed to some cigarettes. You smoke it in 2 minutes, the cigarette's gone. You might not even get any nicotine hit, or the nicotine hit that you might get isn't very significant. These give me some nicotine hit, not as much as these Marlboro Midnights do, or the Marlboro Ice, but this is a pretty good tobacco. Eastern North Carolina is where it's grown and manufactured. Privateer Tobacco Company, limited liability company, tax class L. So, you know, you're not, you know, the taxes aren't quite as high on this stuff. But this is a very good option that I've found after experimenting with many different combinations. This is what I found when I want to save some money. So I know a lot of people, you know, they make cigarette reviews, and I see in the comment sections a lot of times about, you know, people complaining about the price of cigarettes. And, you know, here where I'm at in Pennsylvania currently, you know, for my brand of cigarette, usually the starting price is $7.03, $7.30 before tax. So once tax is over, you're close to $8. You know, sometimes you're over $8. This is a very good option. You know, you get 250 cigarettes about $3 for the tubes, about $6-7 for the tobacco. So you're looking in the $10 range for a whole mess of cigarettes. So while it might not necessarily, it's definitely not the same as the ready-made, it's still a good option when you're trying to be economical and save some money, and you still get a good smoking experience. Now this video's at 10.5 minutes. Now I can't go back and look at it. I don't know. Maybe about 45 seconds in, I started lighting this and smoking it. And I also want to point out that once again that yes, I did take a few drags of this before I even lit it for y'all. And the smoke doesn't burn like some of these different tobaccos you got there. The smoke will burn burn your eyes, it'll burn your nose. This doesn't do any of that. This is just really nice, smooth tobacco. It reminds me a lot. I used to my old brand used to be the L&M Blue. It reminds me a little bit of that, only a little bit stronger, simply because it's the full flavor. It could be comparable, maybe to like Marlboro Light, something like that. Maybe your your Pall Mall. That's what it kind of reminds me of. My wife is a strictly menthol gal when she smokes. She loves menthol cigarettes. That's all she'll smoke. She won't smoke anything full flavor, nothing like that. Me, I don't care. I like either one. I really like the taste of tobacco, but I like a little bit of extra flavors, some minty flavor to it, and different tones. But this is just a straight, nice, smooth tasting tobacco. There is no staleness to this whatsoever. If you seal it upright, it does reseal. It has the resealable, zipper at the top, and there are very minimum sticks. If you do roll your own, you'll notice that a lot of times you get those little sticks in with that you got to keep pulling out and throwing away. I'll tell you, when I get a bag of this, maybe 2 or 3 times I'll find a stick that I got to toss. But this blend that they've come out with, they've come a long way with removing some of that stuff that you don't want. So you're not paying for something you're just going to toss. Now, the further down you get on these do get a little more harsh. I mean, of course, it's burning closer to the end of the filter. I always smoke my cigarettes right until it gets, this line, this paper, the different colored. I like to smoke it till it's just below that, right as it just starts to singe the filter. Then I get rid of it. I like every bit of flavor, every bit of nicotine I can get out of it. So I'm going to take off that 45 seconds, about 13.5 minutes into this review, and I'm just now at that point where the cigarette's finished. So it's a decent, it's a decent smoke. I highly recommend this combination. You can alternate, you can experiment, you can try different combinations, but this is a great way to save money if you're a smoker, especially in areas like ours where cigarettes are pretty expensive. Now, I know places like like North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, and all that, the tobacco prices, I can get a pack of these after taxes for like $4.75. Up here, hell, you can't even get it start before taxes with that. But just an idea, maybe some of y'all out there, you get a little bit tired of the prices of cigarettes, and this is good for you, especially if you're a heavy smoker. If you go through like a pack a day or a pack and a half, 2 packs a day, this is going to save you money. Trust me, it's really going to save you a lot of money, and you might even get to the point where you like these better than the ready-mades. And again, it's the Zen 100 millimeter full flavor tubes, RSB tobacco, the Good Smoke premium pipe tobacco, red, 3-ounce pouch, and I use these little old school things, these little top things, and you put the tobacco in there, and you got the tube on the end. Then it slides over, and it goes, it slides out. You put the tobacco, in, and you do that, and that just kind of pushes the tobacco into the cigarette. You do that, pull it off, and you're ready to go.